Hey, welcome everybody. Capt Ron here with First Officer Dieter Staudinger for this week's edition of Fearless Flight Live. And we got a special guest I think you'll really enjoy. It's one of your own who has tackled her flight anxiety with great success, and she's going to come and tell us about it tonight. So let me share my screen and we'll get underway here. So, okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Fearless Flight Weekly, our weekly live show on Facebook, and also broadcast simulcast on YouTube. So whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, the replay is available. If you're watching us live, please leave a comment. If you're watching the replay, please leave a comment. We enjoy and appreciate your comments, and it's the lifeblood of making this work for you all, because that is what we're trying to do is help people out there. First mention always is our Fearless Flight Birds of a Feather Facebook group. It's a private group, but easy to access. You click on the link, you'll answer a couple of questions through there, and Dieter always mentions the importance of doing that because it's a way we use it to be responsible and not get booted off of Facebook. So it's
And
nothing personal.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ron, there's a couple of things I want to mention about the group. So one, if you're wondering why you haven't been, if you're watching this and not part of the group yet, we have rules to agree to. We have some questions to ask, and then you get automatically accepted. So that's number one. And number two, if you haven't gone to the group in a while, we have this really cool flight pal that's kind of like bringing together posts, and it's kind of like a little bit like a summary of posts that happened over the last few days, and it's very cool. So if you haven't gone to the Birds of a Feather, this is really a great time, and there's some great takeoff and landing videos over there from people as well.
Oh, and I think I just saw 3 new members admitted today. So we're still out there. We got to be nearing a couple thousand people now.
Hmm.
So tonight, one quick mention of the graduation flight this Saturday, 31 May, from Burbank to Phoenix, and then picking up a few Phoenix folks and going back to Burbank. Got a great group, nice size. I'm looking forward to it, as I always do. Special guest, as I mentioned, Doreen Morris. She's going to be coming and joining us here just a short while here. I'm going to make mention of the monthly group coaching session, live coaching session coming up on June 19th. We're just going to do one this month. So on the Thursday night, June 19th, we're going to do one. And of course, any questions you have now, or if you're watching the replay, don't hesitate to leave them there. Okay. There's been so much in the news about the air traffic control system. I'm going to take this month as an opportunity to not only talk about some of the problems out there, what you can expect, but really what is air traffic control? You hear about us talk about ATC all the time. And if you've never ever really looked at how we manage the skies, hopefully this will add some deeper level confidence to you in light of the fact that the FAA has been making the news with the air traffic control system there. So I think you'll find it enjoyable. It's going to be participative. There's going to be a couple of webinar, or a couple don't fail me brain, visualizations. Holy cow. Visualizations as well that you'll get. And we just really are looking forward to people coming and sharing their experiences and what they learn, what they can learn. So the title, Inside the Skies, What Every Flyer Should Know About Airspace and Safety. And I'll be doing that. As far as we know, Dieter will be joining me, and we'll look for you on June 19th. And you'll get some inside information, and we'll be starting at 6:30 p.m. It goes for an hour and a half, and you can sign up on this link right there. So come and join us.
And
Again,
just a quick reminder, Ron, if anybody is in the Cleared for Takeoff 201 course or is a member of the Fearless Flyer Club, this monthly webinar is actually free for you. So that's a great plug for checking out our other offerings.
Okay. And the 301 course, of course, these are the links if you're joining us from Phoenix or joining us from LA. Um, Still got room if you want to join. The ticket prices are a little bit higher, but nonetheless, we'd love to have you. This is what a group looks like when they get done. It's a fun event, and you just can't imagine unless you've been there. These are the flights. If you click on the link to register, you'll get the itinerary there. This is for the people joining in Burbank. I'll be going over there this Friday, spending a night, and then come out in the morning from Burbank to Phoenix, scurrying through the Phoenix airport to meet up with the Phoenix pastors and make our departure gate at Phoenix, headed back to Burbank. And this is the Phoenix to Burbank leg, and then our return flight once we get done at the end of the day. Okay. This is again just a reminder. We're gonna try this. Is the first time I've ever tried this. Starting out or taking classes both from Burbank and Phoenix, and I figured out how I could do it all in one day, and it did work. We got a few more people signed up for the class, and I could kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. So fly with me and a bunch of your peers, and who are walking the same path, trying to get over this like you are. And remember, you were meant to fly. We weren't that bold all the time, but Dieter and I decided, yep, you were meant to fly, and no reason not to. So, okay, tonight it's really a pleasure of introducing someone that I've gotten to know pretty well because we've talked in a coaching call. She's been on a couple of the monthly live group coaching events. And according to Doreen, she'll be here in a minute to confirm all this, but she spent 9 years grounded, not because she didn't want to travel, but because she had just gotten that bug called flight anxiety, fear of flying. And like so many of you out there, she wrestled with the what ifs, the turbulence in her mind, and the weight of believing that flying just wasn't possible for her anymore. But earlier this year, that story changed, and she's the one that changed it. And with the help of the Fearless Flight Kit, coaching, live classes, and a whole lot of courage, she boarded a plane to Italy and took a long haul international flight. Not the easiest way to get back in the air. And not only made it through, but came home with a heart full of joy and a camera full of sunsets and some pictures, which she shared with us tonight. And most importantly, she has a renewed belief in her own strength. So please help me welcome someone who didn't just take a trip, but reclaimed her freedom in the skies, and that's Doreen Morris. So welcome, Doreen. Hey, nice to meet you. What part of the country do you live in, just first of all?
I live on the East Coast. I'm in Connecticut.
Okay, cool. And we'll start right in here. What finally made you say it's time to fly again? And with that little bit of history of how you got to where you weren't flying.
Sure. Well, let me first start by just saying thank you for having me. I never could have imagined, even as recently as a few months ago, that I would be on a program talking about flying. So it's a miracle, but I got through my trip. So what made me say it's time to fly? My husband and I are pretty recently retired. He's a year and I'm just a couple of years. And we were going to last year take a cruise to Mexico from Florida, and we were going to drive down there. We weren't going to fly because I was avoiding it at this point. But we had to cancel the trip because my husband had to have open heart surgery sooner than he anticipated. He had a heart condition that we'd been watching for years, but it got to the point he had to have part of his aorta replaced.
Wow.
I'm happy to say he got through the surgery. It was a 10-hour surgery, but he's doing great.
Great.
So we'd always talked about doing a Europe trip when we retired, and this was the time to help my husband heal, to do it sooner rather than later, because life was all of a sudden, we really appreciated its preciousness. And so we started to plan the trip while he was recovering. And
I'm imagining that put a little bit more importance on really
amazingly so. And you know, it was for him, but it was time for me. So that's really what got me motivated to start
One
flying.
of, one of the things I talk about with people is what seems to be important in our lives as human beings is the why that we want to do something. And that the why is got to be a why that motivates us. And I can't imagine a bigger one than that.
Yeah,
Wanting to
it was-
say, okay, we got to get on with our lives here.
Yep,
So
absolutely. So that was the why. That's what got me started.
okay, and then can you tell everybody what it was like during those 9 years when you avoided flying?
Well, 9 years ago, the last time I flew, there was some tragedy involved. My family, my sister and her husband, and my husband and I went to Florida, and my mother was very ill at the time. She was actually in hospice, and they had encouraged us to go. Hospice said go. Well, unfortunately, my mother died while we were in Florida. So that didn't help with not flying. I had a tremendous amount of guilt. I had a lot of grief. And I had been afraid before that anyhow for quite a while. And that just kind of clinched it. I was staying home. I was getting through that. My husband also, his job at the time, they took his vacation away. So we weren't really going anywhere. We bought a boat, which was his lifelong dream, which was great. So he was sailing. But we were driving everywhere. We would go to New England and we would just stay local. We did buy a place in Myrtle Beach, however, a condo, which was kind of my dream. So we were driving there. So I didn't feel like I was totally missing out, but I did avoid. My in-laws had a place in Hawaii, which I refused and now regret because they're not there, but I never got to Hawaii. I had friends invite me to Aruba. I had family invite me on trips, and I didn't do it. I just couldn't get past the fear, and I had other things.
Those are the really big trips, the ones where you got somebody at the destination.
Yeah.
Not only does it save you some bucks usually for lodging, but it's fun to have people already there to kind of show you the
Oh,
ropes.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So it was tough, but I healed. I enjoyed the area, so I wasn't not enjoying anything. But in the back of my mind, it was regrets, and I still wished I could get through it. And I knew this trip someday was coming.
Yeah.
But circumstances pushed it in.
What was it? What would it feel like? When I'm imagining that thoughts would come up of traveling or something like that, and then you'd think, it involves getting on an airplane.
Oh yeah, horrible. I mean, it was almost panic attacks for me. I mean, the thought of flying, seeing an airplane going to the airport, my palms would sweat. Especially on a plane, if there was turbulence in the past, my heart would pound. I never got up off the plane. I could go through it, but it was extremely disturbing and just felt, I know you've talked about in the other sessions, that I didn't have control over the situation. I couldn't do anything. I was physically ill, almost a fear of crashing. It was just debilitating. And I'd also get angry or upset sometimes. And maybe my husband would agree. I, sometimes would take it out on him just at the fear and apologize immediately afterwards. But it was just a relief of all that fear and pressure. So it was a struggle. It was really.
Yeah, it's super stressful for people to have that going on and stuff. So what was there anything in particular about Fearless Flight in the prep and the stuff that you did that was more helpful than other things that people would?
Well, there were a couple of things. The harmonizer, I think for me was one of the strongest tools that, but it was a combination of reading your book. That was the first thing I got. Learning the facts about how the brain works, about the safety of a plane. Also thinking about, like, if I'm driving in a car, I don't think about it. I know you talked about that, and it's kind of automatic. We don't worry. And the same sensations in a plane would make me crazy. But, I started to think about the truths. The harmonizer definitely helped me breathe, relax, kind of turn the fears off a little bit. And speaking with you, I gotta say, was amazing, and you were so helpful to me. That was a huge thing too. So thank you.
And you bet. And it wasn't just live speaking. You very conscientiously wrote me as I plead with people, if you got a question, if you need a lifeline or something like that. And I think you first reached out to me in the week that you were departing. I don't remember how close it was to your departure and stuff like that.
It was the day before.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd been doing the harmonizer for 2 months, and I was in Myrtle Beach at our place for the winter, and it was helping. And it kind of leads into your next question here, but I mean, actually, my breathing got better. I would start to relax. I could look at planes in the sky and not panic. I started to have a calm. It definitely eased me. It wasn't gone, the fear,
Sure.
but it made it manageable. And I was doing much better. And that final week, things started building up again. I got that anxiety back. And that's when I remembered you said in the 15 minutes, you gave us your phone number and said, call. And
Sure.
My husband thought I was a little crazy at first. And I was like, I don't know if he'll ever pick up the phone or text me, but you did. And you said such motivating words to me. And I slept that night because of the combination of the harmonizer and you, and just the support and somebody knowing it made a huge difference for me. So thank you.
I'm glad. When I people say, how should I use this thing? And I tell them, you really don't have to do it 24/7, but I recommend like 3 to 4 weeks before you get ready to fly. If you start listening to it at night and in the morning. And then I've learned from people that have told me this, the best use that they found was sometimes like you're bumping along, you're doing okay. And then all of a sudden during the day, you'll get a spike of anxiety. And what they've told me that they did was to listen to it then. You don't have to listen to the whole 32 minutes, but just enough that you feel your attention coming back to you. And frankly, I think you start to get bored with me. And that's my joke is, when you're better is when you get sick and tired of my voice, you want to reach through and strangle me, but at least you're thinking about something else. So I don't know if you used it that way or just mainly.
I did both. And I have to say, it taught me the breathing. And some of that was in my head because I did it a couple times a day. And if I got super anxious, I did it. But I could do the breathing on my own and kind of hear your group talking to me through that in my head. And that helps. And some of it, again, it's not just flying. It helped me in other moments in my life. Calming and anxiety. And that was a kind of a nice surprise, added bonus to me.
I'm glad. And this is the thing that I think you deserve and people like you deserve the most credit for. And that is to actually do it, because sadly the anxiety gets so overwhelming for some people. We just kind of go in and stop functioning, and just wish for somebody to come through and magically make the fear go away or make the anxiety go away. And to hear you, in the regimen and the discipline you developed and how that you could see the change. It's so hard to believe for people that you can actually make a difference before you get on the airplane. Because if you can get on the airplane, your anxiety is not likely to disappear. But if you can get on and get it down to a 5 or a 6 or something, now when you get a little spike of anxiety, you've got some wiggle room, I say, some resilience. And I think, I don't know, but I'm hoping that that's one of the best things that you experienced was the ability to withstand little burps of anxiety. So.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely, even I did, the first flight was challenging.
Okay. And then here's the question here. What was there anything that surprised you most about your flights? How many flights did you overall during?
Yeah, well, I was shocked just from doing this. I wasn't sure if it would help me through it, but my palms did not sweat. I
Yeah.
was shocked that I slept the night before. Um, my chest did not pound. I was still fearful. I had
Sure.
anxiety, but it was manageable. And for me to get through an 8.5 and a 9.5 hour flight, and I
Yeah.
had a short flight in the middle. We flew from Athens to Rome, and I
Uh-huh.
was not afraid at all on that flight. I listened to the harmonizer 3 times. It was an hour and a half, so I was pretty much up and down by the time I did that. But
Sure.
I wasn't afraid. And I also, your first photo of the sunset over the airplane wing, that was me landing, coming home in JFK. And that I actually enjoyed that beautiful sunset. I'm going to get emotional. I'm going to cry. But that
So
was unbelievable. And that was another surprise, the emotion. When I landed, and I sent you pictures, and I don't think we have it here, when I was drinking the cappuccino in Italy.
oh, I should have pulled
And
that one. You texted me that one. I should have sent
yeah,
that.
and you shared how proud you were of me. And oh my God, it was such an emotional. I sobbed in the airport, and it's just amazing to me that I did it, and I got through it. And that it was a big surprise for me to not have done it for 9 years. It's amazing. And we had such a wonderful time.
Well, you've kind of shared on this. This is a question that just came up to me. What does living a more purposeful life look like for you now? And maybe that's a little bit deep, but what I was thinking about is when you shared other areas of your life that you noticed that it's made a difference on that. So,
Oh
can you think?
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
it definitely has. I'm not on the trip. I'm also very fearful of heights, which is one of the reasons I have a problem with flying too. And I was able, again, using some of the techniques. We were on very high winding roads a few times, on
yeah,
cliff
yeah.
edges, and I normally I couldn't look at all. I was able to look and see the vistas sometimes. Sometimes it got me. I stood in Venice up on a very high top and was able to look out. I couldn't used to get, even my husband said you could never get near the edge. I was able to get near the edge. I take small risks. I can't do everything. It's not a miracle cure by any means, but little
Right.
things I'm starting to try to take risks. I'm trying to share. That's why I wanted to come talk. I mean, if I can help somebody get through what I did, it's amazing. I'm less angry. I'm enjoying life, and it's life changing. It was definitely um, start of a good phase. So thank you.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So here's one that maybe is kind of weird, but that's who I am. So if you were going to talk to the person that you used to be, what would you say to her now?
I would say it's okay to be afraid.
Nice.
You have to find the strength and the tools to manage your fears, and life is just too short to miss out on an amazing experience. And you gotta you gotta put the work in, you gotta be prepared, but you gotta take a step, and you can do it. And I did.
Nice. And any message you'd give to people out there that are, hanging in there saying, yeah, but she wasn't as afraid as I was.
No, and I was terrified, and I'm still afraid. I
Yeah.
again, it's not a miracle cure, and I would be hesitant if somebody claimed they were going to cure you instantly over
Yeah. I
your
wouldn't believe them
fears.
either.
Yeah, but I know that I can do it and get through it. And I think you wrote to me and you said that feeling anxiety isn't a sign of failure. It's your brain doing what it's supposed to do to try to
Yeah.
protect you. But the key difference is you can be in the pilot's seat of your own mind, choosing to go forward anyway and redefine what's possible for yourself. And the tools are there to help you if you're willing to take the first steps and choose to do it and do the work. and the rewards are so worthwhile. And believe me, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. And thanks. I appreciate that. People thank me a lot, as you have done, and I'm always quipping, don't blame me for your success. And I'm going to say that to you, because without you and your discipline and your taking action, it wouldn't happen. And I just want to congratulate you for having the courage to do that. Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much.
I try to remember the first time I ever talked to anyone is to have them pat themselves on the back and say, way to go, because you stepped up. Because so many people will never, ever get to that point. Just out of curiosity, do you remember where this is? I'm curious. This picture.
Remember this is in Monte Rosa in Cinque Terre.
Oh, wow.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
So many beautiful things. It's hard to pick pictures to share which ones, but
yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming here tonight. I appreciate you sharing the photos, but most of all, sharing yourself, Doreen. I really want to commend you and thank you for having the bolting. Let me check with Dieter and see if anybody's got any questions for you. If you got a little bit more.
It's been an active chat here. So first of all, Doreen, there are lots of praises and hearts and just I think the pictures really helped hit home. And I know Sandra says she's working up her way to go to Italy, and I'd say your pictures totally make it worth it.
Well, it was. It was. You can't, I had never been to Europe, and I just couldn't put into words the beauty and the sensations of what you see and feel, and the history and the food and the wine. It was amazing, really, really.
Yeah. So
to me, go ahead.
There were a couple other comments, and you alluded a little bit to it, but I'm curious again, because the question was the whole process leading up, to the flight, like the booking the tickets and packing. So how were those two things for you this time?
Well, I have to say, one of the things I don't love to do is travel plan, which I did a lot of travel planning. So that was a little additional stress, but I found a wonderful, I'm going to promote a different product, but I found a wonderful travel app. I don't know if I can do it on your thing, but Wonderlog, that really helped ease the pain of that piece of it. But because I had started this earlier, I knew you said we didn't have to do or at least a month out, but I started it 2 months out because I figured it's not going to hurt me if I do it longer. And I did it once or twice a day. I started to feel calmness earlier, and I was able to pack. Now I got to say, it was a bad year for a lot of plane incidents. So I wasn't watching the news. I would tell my husband, shut the news off. I can't watch it. So that helped by avoiding that. But I was able to do stuff easier than I used to do. So yeah, it's.
Tell me about Wonderlog. I'm just curious because I've not heard that before. What describe it a little bit?
It's a travel app that has AI associated with it. I knew nothing about it. I just got lucky and logged on it. You can load in your flight information, your hotels. It gives you an itinerary that you can print. It suggests places to go. If you have places you want, it'll map out for you when to go. It'll give you weather reports. It'll suggest restaurants, tell you if they're open, book reservations for you. It's unbelievable. So,
and it uses AI, you say, which to me, if you've not used AI out there for anything, you guys got to get on it, because AI is. There's some things about it.
So I was not.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So was it Wonderlog? You just go, you get it in the App Store or something? Is that where you found it?
Yep. Okay. Yep. And there's a paid version and a free version. I had the free version. My husband had the paid version. The difference is you can use that offline. And
Yeah.
you can use a little bit more extended AI, but I really had enough. It was, yeah.
I put a link. I put a link into the website, so
Oh, great.
for people to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
That's
was
another
very
benefit of the show here is we have people like you that find those things out there that I would have never found that probably. So that's something that I'm planning some trips myself. So I'm planning on using that. So anything else, Dieter? Any other questions or anything?
no, there's just some little bit excitement going on, or dread, Gary. I don't know, but I'm gonna call it excitement anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About our upcoming flight class. So yeah, so that was cool too.
Okay.
to
So if
see.
you'd like, you can just stay with us, Doreen, for a few minutes, and I'm just going to cover a few things, and then when we get to the end, I would like to thank you before you leave, if
Sure.
that's you again. Okay. All right. So I wanted to do an update. I think it came up last week. It certainly came up with a question if somebody was thinking about flying on the and it'd been so long he didn't have a real ID, and it went into effect. It became mandatory on May 7th. So I checked on this. What do you need? And somebody asked me, if you don't have a real ID, but you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles in the state where you live and you get a temporary license, which is the first thing they give you, can you use that as an alternative to having the physical driver's license that is the real serves as the real ID? And the board answer is no, you can't. However, it said if you've not yet received your permanent real ID card and need to fly, you're supposed to have another form of identification. You can use a passport or a passport card. You can, of course, you can use the real ID. You can, if you're in the military, you can use a DoD ID, Department of Defense ID. There's a DHS trusted traveler card. A global entry would be one of those. I happen to have global entry as well. A permanent resident card will count. A federally recognized tribal issued photo. And if you get to the airport and all you got is that temporary license, don't give up. Especially if you're going on a cruise like Doreen was, you can try to use it. And what they may do is they may look at your temporary real ID, and that may spur them to find some other way of verifying you on a list or something, which I'm not sure of. But anyway, so that they do recommend doing that. But regardless, you really want to get that real ID if you haven't. Okay. And I just wanted to wrap this up with, I remember talking to Doreen, because there's such a feeling of something being wrong with us sometimes that we bring to fear of flying. We think that, and it's not, it's normal. It's just a part of your warning system that's kind of like overtweaked. So each time you take one small step forward, you're building new strength and new evidence and a new relationship with yourself. And it isn't just about flying. It's about living a life that isn't defined by fear, which is apparently bothering my dog right now. I don't know if you can hear it as loud as I can, and each time you fly, you're not just going somewhere, you're becoming someone new. So stay curious, stay courageous, and keep reaching for the skies, as Doreen is living proof that you can do. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in every week. I want to thank you for Doreen for being here and sharing with us. And it takes a lot of courage to get through this, and you are an exemplary person in that area. So thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doreen. That was really, really, it was great for us to just hear, but from what I can tell from the chat, it really was helpful for a lot of people as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And in spite of what Dieter and I try to tell people, nothing helps better than people like you, Doreen. So thanks. Do you have any other trips coming up?
Not in the immediate. We need to stay home. We haven't been home in a long time, months. So get the sailboat ready and get back to Myrtle Beach eventually in the fall. But no, just staying home and enjoy the summer in Connecticut. So
I can identify with the sailboat passion. My son sailed from Puerto Vallarta to French West Polynesia last.
Wow. No, we
He's
don't.
over there, been over there, just over. Yeah, not me either, man. I'll fly over the ocean for hours, but you're not going to get me in the middle like that. So, but he loves it, and so what? So anyway, so thanks again. Thanks to you, Doreen. Thanks, Dieter, and thanks to all of you out there for once again coming and keeping us honest here in Fearless Flight Live. So until next week, we'll see ya. Have a great week and keep the faith up.